Hello, and welcome to another episode of Downright Fierce Gaming, America's furthest northeast podcast. My name is Josh Asensio, and I have jet lag. I'm so very, very tired. With me is nobody, I think. Okay, so, for real, hello. This is the honeymoon week number 3. I'm in Iceland. That's why I said it's the furthest northeast podcast. Now it makes sense to those who didn't know that before and just got to watch me stare blankly at the screen. This is going to be a weird episode because jet lag is real. Right now it is 9 o'clock here. It is 4 o'clock where I'm from. It's not that big of a difference, so I'm okay, but it's going to be weird. My brain isn't working quite like it normally does, but we're going to push through and do this episode because we got a lot of news. Of course, Fierce News is brought to you by patreon.com/mclars. Actually, it's brought to you by MC Lars, but that's the link you can go to for his Patreon, and you can do lots of cool things with that, like give him money. You should give him money. He's actually a really cool guy, and I believe at the end of this month, December, he is going to make us a song, and I can't wait to hear it. I'm probably going to cry when I hear it. It's going to be the best thing that happened to me all year when he wrote the song for me. It's going to be the best thing. I can't think of a single other thing. I'm trying to think. Let me think. What other good things have happened to me this year? Oh, sorry. Chris Stanton played at my wedding. That was a pretty awesome thing. Okay, so Chris Stanton, the Chris Stanton playing at my wedding, and then MC Lars writing a song for me. Best things that happen all year. So the first thing is, there's something that might surprise you. First of all, were you like me? Do you have this happen to you in the mornings? No. Were you like me and totally forgot that there was supposed to be a new Elder Scrolls game this year? Like, I'm not talking about Elder Scrolls 6. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But there was supposed to be Blades. Blades was coming out this year. It was the mobile game that was going to have, like, the procedurally generated dungeons and all that. And it actually looked somewhat interesting. That was coming out this year. That was going to be a thing. And now it's not a thing. It's delayed to 2019. But I don't know. That was kind of weird. I feel like that happens a lot. Like, a lot of times there'll be an announcement for a game, and then nothing, unless it's a major title, like obviously Spider-Man and, games like that, games that are that big, constantly in our face, hey, it's coming out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But little games like this kind of fall under the radar, and there's really no reason for them to advertise them because they're not going to pull enough money to spend on advertising. But I feel like there should be some kind of creative alternative to advertising for these smaller games. Because, I write the news. Every week I report on video game news, and then I forget little things like this because you can't remember all these, games, especially little ones like that. I don't know. Just throwing that out there into the world to do that. I gotta check something because I'm not seeing something on here, and I'm just gonna just hop on my phone real quick. And yeah, how are you guys doing? Just keep talking while I. Oh God, there we go. Okay, we're good. So yeah, Elder Scrolls Blades is delayed to 2019. Actually, speaking of RPGs, you know what I learned in Iceland? First of all, it's cold. Iceland is cold, hence the beanie. But apparently they like Baldur's Gate. And let me see if I can pull up the camera so I can show you guys. Look at this. Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gata, which is like a female cat or something. I don't know. But Baldur's Gate. I thought that was kind of cool. I took a picture of that. I didn't take a picture of it. My hands are too cold. I made my wife take a picture of it, but it was cool. I'll tell you that much. Iceland is cold. Town is city. Truths of the world, says my wife. My wife. And other 2003 or 2 references. Okay, so moving on. BioWare General Manager Casey Hudson recently teased a new Dragon Age announcement on their official blog. He said, quote, "If you've been following these blogs or myself and Mark Dara on Twitter, which I don't, I should, we're also working on some secret Dragon Age stuff. Dragon Age is an incredibly important franchise to our studio, and we are excited to continue its legacy. Look for more on this in the coming month." Fuck yeah. I had a conversation with my cousin AJ recently, who I know doesn't watch, but, whatever. And he said that Dragon Age Inquisition is the best RPG, Western RPG ever made. He's wrong, obviously. He's incredibly wrong. AJ, if you're listening to this later, I almost said, AJ, if you're listening to this later, you are so wrong. You're an idiot, and you're not in chat right now, so you can't dispute it. You wrong son of a bitch. But Dragon Age Inquisition is absolutely one of my favorite RPGs that came out in 2016? 2000 Dragon Age Inquisition came out in 2000. Why doesn't it just have this information readily available for me? 14! Holy shit! God, it's been a long time. It's been 4 years. Jesus. It's almost been 5 years. I should have kept when the month it came out was. But wow. It's been a long time since Dragon Age came out, y'all. Anyways, awesome. I loved the game when it came out. Super excited to see what else they have. It sounds like this game is going to be announced, or could be announced, at the Game Awards, because they said that it's going to be coming. Look for more this coming month. Game Awards is a fantastic venue for them to announce that, and a platform for them to announce that. Would be really cool. Now, earlier this year, Hudson said the next Dragon Age would be story and character focused, and you would know that if you watched Down to Fierce Gaming, because I pulled that quote. I remember that quote, and we talked about that. And if you don't remember, then maybe you weren't paying attention close enough, and maybe you should do that, because I have good things to say with my mouth. It's also going to follow EA's live model. Now, we talked about this earlier in the year. I'll just touch on it really quickly. I still don't think that's going to be an MMO. That doesn't make sense for them to jump to MMO when the other model's been working with them so well. I think it's going to be more like Destiny and the Division model. It's going to be like the traditional Dragon Age, but kind of a shared world, like, kind of thing. Like again, like Destiny and the Division. It's a linear... It's like a linear MMO. Like, you still go on all your missions, and you don't necessarily have to do stuff with other people. Although, shit. You know, saying that out loud, I don't know if I'd be okay with that. Because what makes Dragon Age really awesome is the story. So if you go the route of Destiny and the Division, now you're losing that story element, and that kind of sucks. So, I should have thought about this earlier. I don't like that. Oh my god, what is it gonna be? He says to his wife he has no idea what Dragon Age is. No idea. You know Dragon Age! Obsidian Entertainment. That's another company. They've been, they're fantastic at making RPGs. They have been doing this big campaigning thing. It's a big announcement for the Game Awards with a countdown appearing on its site. So they have these little ads that if you click brings you to a countdown. Now, Obsidian made Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and South Park Stick of Truth. 3 fantastic RPGs. There are several ads that when you click them say either stay tuned, special message from Spacer's Choice, or stay tuned, special message from Auntie Cleo, and a countdown. Now, from the limited research I did, this doesn't sound like that's specifically from a game. Like, these are completely new titles or whatever. They're claiming it's a, I mean, they're hyping up something. If they're going to hype up a brand new IP, completely brand new, I mean, it's possible, it's not impossible, but that's kind of a letdown. I mean, they'd have to show something pretty fantastic for you to be like, oh, wow, new IP, and it looks badass. Okay. So the Spacer's Choice ad has a very Fallout-ass looking gun. That's what I wrote right here. Fallout-ass looking gun that says, order yours today. It's not the best choice, it's the Spacer's Choice. And the Auntie Cleo's ad has a bunch of food and health products that says better than nature. The whole thing is just this real, it's a Fallout-ass move. The ads look like Fallouts. Even the font kind of looks like Fallout. Everything points to Fallout, which would be fantastic timing to go in between, go right after 76. 76 launches, you know, it's this shared world MMO, whatever thing. You know, it's been enough time since Fallout 4, and we're probably a long time from Fallout 5. So a Fallout New Vegas style game, perfect timing for an announcement at least. I mean, it's probably still a year out, maybe 2 years out, but you know, this is the team that made a better, not spin-off, what is it called? Better, God, what is it called? Help me out here. What is it called? It's not a spin-off, standalone. They made a better standalone expansion than the original. How often does that happen? Seriously, I know it happens. You don't have to be like, oh, well, actually, BioShock had a better. No. It's very rare for that to happen, and I mean, Obsidian they've gone on to also make other great games, so I'm thinking it's going to be Fallout, maybe in space. That kind of fits with the whole Spacer's Choice and the Auntie Cleo saying better than nature because it's all artificial and you can't really grow too many things in space. Or maybe you can, I don't know. But I'm really excited to see a brand new game in Fallout 4's engine with, little minor cosmetic tweaks and some gameplay tweaks like they did with New Vegas. That is a game I would absolutely play, and I'm super excited to find out what's going to happen. And they could call it Fallout Space Force. There you go. Anyways, we'll find out on the 6th, I believe the Game Awards are. And we're going to be talking about the Game Awards a lot in this episode, towards the end, though. So, moving on, Zelda producer I don't know, ma. Okay, it's EIJIAO and then separate name AONUMA. Eiji Aonuma. That was really racist. Left a bunch of Zelda fans with blue balls this week. On stage at a Legend of Zelda musical concert in Osaka, Japan, he said, "I know what you're thinking. Skyward Sword for Switch, right?" And then just left. Just like, oh, hey, this thing that's kind of been rumored and would be amazing? Bye! And it just leaves. So, I mean, obviously everyone is applauding. Everyone's like freaking out like, oh my God, Skyward Sword for Switch, a game that Josh has never played. That's exactly what they said. I watched the video. He just leaves. And it turns out that wasn't even a tease. He's just saying things. He just says things for no goddamn reason. Like, that's the equivalent of going on stage like, pizza for breakfast. Am I right? Oh my God, pizza for breakfast does sound good. Oh, wow. Just says things. You can't just say things at large events like that. Speaking to Eurogamer, a Nintendo spokesperson said, quote, "At this time, we have no plans to release The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Nintendo Switch." Oh, well. This is so surreal right now, just talking to myself for this long. With the jet lag, it's really cool. It's like drugs, which I know nothing about. So, speaking of Nintendo Switch, during the Black Friday to Cyber Monday time period, the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console. I'm pulling in Osaku, or whatever his name is. I'm just saying things over here. It is the best-selling Nintendo console in history. That's really that key word right there. The Nintendo Switch was the best-selling Nintendo console in history. Now, that does make a huge difference when you're saying, world record stuff, which, by the way, speaking of world records, I met the Mountain from Game of Thrones in Iceland. It was super cool. He has the Guinness World Record of being a strongman. But that's not what we're talking about right here. That's what we're showing you. Let me pull up this picture because you got to see this. I met him. He was a fantastic dude. And hold on, let me get this going up here for my audio listeners. I'm so sorry, but there's him. And no, that's not a supermodel right there. That's my wife. That's her right there. She's just hanging out with the Mountain from Game of Thrones. Audio listeners, you need to start watching the videos. I'm telling you, they're really good, y'all. You can check them out on youtube.com/DownrightFierceGaming or facebook.com/DownrightFierceGaming or twitch.tv/DRFpodcast. In fact, I should do more plugs like that. Like, share, subscribe, follow, friend, message, downrightfierce@hotmail.com, #DRF, Josh is right. Okay, so anyways, the Switch is the best-selling Nintendo console in history. That doesn't sound like much, but consider the fact that it is going up against the Wii. Remember that thing? Remember the holiday season around that sumbitch? Remember how hard it was to find one of them sumbitches? What about the N64? Are you old enough to remember that one? You should, because I say a lot of curse words. And if you're not old enough to remember it, then you're probably not old enough to hear me say fuck. Or maybe you are, actually. I'm getting kind of old. Actually, yeah, maybe you are. Okay, well, still, the N64. And let us not forget the original NES. The NES. All these freaking games coming out around the holiday season had fervor. People were going crazy. And then my wife asked, what was the best Nintendo console before the Switch? The best Nintendo console, my opinion, probably the N64. As far as libraries go, probably either GameCube or NES. I don't know. But the best-selling one is probably going to be the Wii, I'd say. I'd say it's a fair guess. And she meant best-selling. Probably the Wii. The Wii's a safe bet. Jet lag. I don't know. That's good for the Switch. Good for the Switch. Definitely means we're going to be getting more games for it. Definitely means it's going to be supported for a very long time. And Nintendo's probably only a handheld console creator maker now. Okay, so since we're covering the news, we also have to talk about Telltale, because news and Telltale are now synonymous. Fuck. Thought last week was going to be the last week. This one actually is kind of interesting. If you didn't already see it on your queue, Minecraft Story Mode is now playable through Netflix. There's the thing that the Skeleton Crew was working on. The Skeleton Crew left over from the Telltale shutdown or whatever. That was the last project they were working on, and it's out. It's a thing you could do right now if you have Netflix. Currently, the first 3 episodes are out, and then the final 2 are coming on December 5th, which is in 3 days. I'm sorry, I'm gassy. I'm super gassy. I had a cookie like this thick. I swear to God, it was like that thick, and it was like that big. It was a big-ass cookie. I had some milk with it, and ooh, I farted. I farted so much, because I'm lactose intolerant, for those of you who didn't know. So here's the thing about the Netflix thing. I think it's a little weird that they went through with this deal. Because, yes, it's a cool thing, like, oh, you know, now we can play video games on Netflix. But Telltale shut down. Like, I get, okay, so they would lose money if they didn't go through with this deal. You know, they would, actually, you know what, they were probably forced into doing the deal. But still, to actually launch the content, now you're kind of in a situation where, let's say this is a big hit, and you get some people who are not like me and don't follow the gaming news and didn't know this was coming out for months, who are going through the Netflix like, oh wow, a video game on Netflix. I can play a video game on Netflix? This is awesome. They play the video game. Oh, that was so great. I want more. And now they're campaigning like, hey, let's get some more video games on Netflix. That was so cool. Now the company, the only company, in my opinion, the only company that could have made that possible is shut down. Netflix isn't going to create any quality content like that. They're not going to find another company, maybe Skybound, but it's not going to have the same feel as a Telltale game. And you're going to release a lesser quality product if you continue to go the video game route. Or it just becomes some random ass thing you did once and then just disappears. That's a more likely situation, but I still feel like that's kind of a weird thing to go through on. You know, like consistency, I feel, especially when you have competition like Hulu and Amazon Video, consistency, I believe, is the most important thing. It made sense when Telltale was still a company that can still bring them games and do Stranger Things and do all the Netflix, you know, IPs in Telltale video game form, but now they can't. So they do this one thing, which isn't even an IP of Netflix's, and then that's it. Not going to happen again. Did you know Netflix also used to have they used to have episodes that would air weekly. They did that with Heroes. I don't know if they did that with any other show, but they did that with Heroes every week. When a new episode of Heroes would come out, that Thursday, on Netflix it came out too. I wonder why they don't do that anymore. Moving on. Speaking of things that we'll never get to stop talking about, Fortnite now has more than 200 million players, making it among the most played games in the history of the medium. I still haven't played it. I probably should. Personally, I thought we had already passed the peak of Fortnite interest. Once you see parents flossing, you kind of figure that that's it. You know, once the parents think it's cool, once the parents get on board, then it's all downhill. Apparently not. The game has shown a 60% increase in players since June of this year. That was 6 months ago, y'all. Since 6 months, it has seen a 60% increase. That's a lot of sixes. I should probably play that game. See what all the fuss is about. All right. Moving on. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate isn't coming out until December 7th. But a copy of the game has leaked, and pirates have been enjoying the game for at least a week. Did I say week twice? Leaked words. Weird. There are reports of multiple pirated versions being passed around, and at least one that people claim to be bricking consoles. Now, I can't say much, but I can confirm that not all copies are bricking consoles. I can't confirm that. I definitely can't confirm that personally. But for the audio listeners, I'm nodding and smiling. It's so much fun. It's a great game. Shh, shh, shh. I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike because that's what Nintendo's doing right now. They're doing copyright strikes for anybody who talks about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the pirated version. Well, they're showing videos and they're like, yo, you can't do that. The game's not out yet. But it's so much fun. Oh my god, you guys. Moving on. Some sad news for anyone who remembered our episode where we covered games that went missing. Rockstar Games and its parent company, Take-Two Interactive, I'm having a stroke, have let their trademark for Agent run out. Agent was going to be their espionage game they announced more than 11 years ago. In 2007, it was called the next great franchise from Rockstar. 2 years later, Sony revealed it was an espionage game set in the 70s, and we got a name. Then Rockstar's official description said, quote, Agent takes players on a paranoid journey into the world of counterintelligence, espionage, and political assassinations during the height of the Cold War at the end of the 1970s. In 2011, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick confirmed that Agent was still in development. And then 2 years later, GTA 5 came out. So here's what I'm thinking. GTA 5 comes out, all of a sudden they get a money printer like GTA 5, and they're like, oh, everything else? Nah. No, let's just make money doing this. So they did that for a while, and then they're like, okay, well, our next game has got to be like as big as GTA 5. Not as big, has got to be a big hit like GTA 5, and they're not going to take a chance on a brand new IP. That wasn't going to happen. So I'm kind of figuring they let Agent run out. Agent's dead. If they ever do another IP, it's going to be a little, actually it might be next, who knows, but they let it run out. It's over. Just, no, it's not going to be next. GTA 6 is next. Of course it is. We're probably never going to see Agent. And I've also been saying this for a while too. I have a note in here. I really want to talk about this. I don't care how unpopular this opinion is. I'm going to say it, God damn it. If you have a playable game, like, I always forget the name of it. It's the Dragon game, the Microsoft exclusive. It's the Microsoft exclusive with the dragons. I'm going to type that in. Hold on. It's the Microsoft exclusive with dragons. Scalebound. First thing that comes up. Scalebound. Okay. So, perfect example. Scalebound. You have a game that's playable. You had demos at goddamn E3, okay? You have a playable demo, or a playable level, or a playable anything. Even if it's just a person, it's like Assassin's Creed loading screen style, where you're just moving a character around a screen. Price it appropriately, and then just release it if you're getting shut down. You recoup some of the money, you give, the developers some of the money that they've dedicated their work to, like they've dedicated their lives to making this game. If I can give them some money, and you don't even have to finish it. Just put a little warning there. This game is not going to be finished. This is it. This is whatever. And then players get to see it before it just disappears from history. It just lost forever. Like PT. Like, yeah, some people, including myself, can still play it, but that really sucks that they don't have it released in some weird capacity. Maybe there was another level in that. Maybe there was something. I mean, just give us something, and you can still make money off of this. It must be a legal thing. Like, there's no reason why I can be, like, it doesn't make sense that I'm the only person who thought about this, against some major freaking, companies, video game companies. It has to be a legal reason, right? We need to get a lawyer or something, because there's no reason such an easy cash grab wouldn't, and that, now I'm remembering what Tristan says. You release an inferior product, people who don't know any better look at it and go, oh, well, Rockstar releases crappy games because Agent, plays like shit. Damn. All right, Tristan, you're right. By the way, Iceland, everybody looks like Tristan. It's true. They all have like, kind of long hair and the skinny faces. They all look like Tristan. I've seen a billion Tristans walking around. It's been wonderful. I've had the longest consistent boner since we landed. Rumors about a Rocksteady-developed Superman game have been floating around. A supposed listing appeared for a game called Superman World's Finest, with Rocksteady listed as its developer. The rumor also suggested that the announcement was going to happen at this year's Video Game Awards. Turns out, rumor isn't true. Rocksteady co-founder and game director Sefton Hill tweeted, quote, "Looking forward to the Game Awards this year. We're still hard at work in our development bunker, so don't expect an announcement from Rocksteady Games. When it's ready to show, you'll be the first to know. Spoiler, it's not Superman." Personally, I didn't think that they could make a good Superman game with the Arkham engine, which is probably what they're going to do. Whatever the next game is, it's going to be some derivative of the Arkham engine. Superman, he flies and stuff. Like, I get you can still fly in Arkham, like kind of, gliding or whatever, but he's just a little too overpowered. Now, Daredevil. Daredevil in the Arkham engine. Sit on that one for a little bit. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Kind of want to hang out there, don't you? Yeah. Just sit on it for a little while. Okay, so moving on to the final thing. How are we doing on time? It's going to be a short episode. The final thing is the Video Game Awards. 2018 takes place... Actually, it's the Game Awards. Video Game Awards? Is it the Game Awards? Hold on. It's the Video Game Awards, right? No, it's the Game Awards. Sorry, it's just the Game Awards. Okay, whatever. The Game Awards 2018 takes place on December 6th, and I looked up the nominations to make my predictions. Yeah, let's just fucking go through it. I'm gonna give you both my personal choice for who should win and the one that I actually think is gonna win. So the one that I would give the award to, and then the one that probably deserves it the most. The first one is, of course, Game of the Year. The nominations are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste. Why does that sound familiar? Celeste. Where have I feel like I heard about that game somewhere. Who was talking about Celeste? It's a good friend of mine. Oh, God, who was talking about Celeste? I remember it was like a really good friend of mine. Somebody that knows a lot about video games and is a really cool guy. Skylar. Skylar was talking about Celeste. I remember that now. Skylar was just recently talking. Nobody other than him have ever talked about Celeste ever in the history of that video game. Definitely not. Definitely not anybody cool. Definitely not anybody who likes Duval. Yeah, okay. So Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, so personal choice for Game of the Year, Red Dead Redemption 2. It is Rockstar's artistic masterpiece. This game is the most beautiful game. It plays now a lot. I know, like the Chris Stans out there, they all want to say, "Oh, it's so slow and you have to do all these things." That's the game, okay? It's the reason why I got a 10 out of 10 and Spider-Man got like a 9.7 or whatever. I'm not saying Spider-Man's a crappy game and that it's not a masterpiece. It absolutely is. But it did not hit perfection on every level it was going for, like Red Dead Redemption 2 did. Red Dead Redemption 2 set out to create an experience and absolutely nailed it. That whole slow pace, that whole whatever, it did it perfectly. Now, I understand the argument against... I'm arguing with myself over here. I just realized that. Spider-Man, yes, I get it. You feel like Spider-Man. Even the combat, like you have to play like Spider-Man. I get that. But where they did not succeed was the mission structure, in my opinion. It got a little repetitive, a little tiny bit, a 0.3 bit. Okay? If it got a 9.7 out of 10, it screwed up a 0.3% when it came to missions. I'm sorry. I love Spider-Man. That's my number 2 pick, but for this one, personal choice, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I believe that it will also win. So there's that one. Best action game. Okay, so the options are Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. Never mind. Why Spider-Man's on there, because it's on the next one. Personal choice, Dead Cells. Hands down, this game, I never thought I would enjoy a side-scrolling action game. like Mega Man, like those kind of games. I never thought I'd ever enjoy one of those. I didn't like Mega Man. I don't like Mario all that much. That's more platformy. But Dead Cells, that gameplay loop, I mean, I was hardcore addicted to that for a while. I mean, and it made the action just felt fantastic. It felt so smooth. It was just, for action games, absolutely Dead Cells. The one that I believe will win, Destiny 2 Forsaken. Now, that's only from what I've heard about it. And it's a more popular game than Dead Cells, and it has a bigger fan base. From what I heard about Destiny 2 Forsaken, and for those who don't know, that's not just Destiny 2, that's the expansion that came out for it. Apparently, it's badass, it's amazing, it's better than the one that came out for the first one, Iron Curtain or Iron whatever. Apparently, that one's fantastic. So, the one I believe will win, Destiny 2 Forsaken. Although, if Dead Cells wins, that'd be really cool, because I don't think Call of Duty is going to win. I don't think Far Cry 5 is going to win for action. And then definitely not Mega Man 11. That one's not going to win. If that one, no, not going to. So moving on, Best Action/Adventure Game. The nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So for personal choice, Red Dead Redemption 2. You want to talk about adventure? You're in the goddamn Wild West. How much more adventure do you want? Okay. Now, the reason why I didn't pick Spider-Man for this one is because it's action adventure. I don't feel like there's that much adventure in Spider-Man. Like, if we were saying best action game, either Spider-Man or Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man wins 100%. Without a doubt in my mind, Spider-Man is the best action game over Red Dead Redemption 2. However, we're saying action adventure. I feel like you need both. You need the adventure part too. And there's no real exploring. I understand, yes, you're in New York, but that's an adventure for people who could walk. For me, when I was in New York last week, that was an adventure, walking around, because it takes me a really long time to walk around New York. With Spider-Man, you're just flying all over the fucking place. Like, that's not an adventure. It's not. So, personal choice, Red Dead Redemption 2. The one I believe will win, and the one that I would agree with if it won, God of War. I mean, it's as far as blending action and adventure, I think it does it way better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I personally like Red Dead Redemption 2 over God of War, but if we're talking about specifically nailing action and adventure in the same, genre, God of War, hands down. Moving on to Best Role-Playing Game. The nominees are Dragon Quest XI, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. So I haven't played any of these except for Octopath Traveler, so that's my personal choice. Just Octopath Traveler. It's a fantastic RPG. I like that one a lot. The one I believe will win... Now, this one was, again, difficult because I haven't played any of these other than Octopath Traveler. Let's break them down. So Dragon Quest XI, actually I didn't look that one up, but I heard it was I heard it was okay. Monster Hunter World, don't really feel like that is a good example of a role-playing game. The mechanics of it, yes, are all, when you break it down, it's absolutely a role-playing game. You have quests, you have, you're leveling up a character, your stat building and all that. Actually, it's a pretty solid example of a role-playing game. But it's a boss rush. I don't know. Still, I'm going to go with Ni no Kuni 2. It got some of the best reviews out of all of these. I've heard way more people talking about Ni no Kuni 2 and how amazing it is. Personally, it doesn't really look like my kind of game, but from what I hear from Jacob, that's pretty much it. No, I'm joking. A lot of people have been talking about that game, and I think it's going to be that one. Now moving on to Best Game Direction. That would be, the nominees are A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. So I didn't know what Best Game Direction meant. So I looked up a video of the Game Awards from, I think it was 2016 or 17. And here is what Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, said when he was announcing the nominees. He said, "This award recognizes studios that have worked extra hard to innovate and push the boundaries of game design." So, with that in mind, personal choice, Red Dead Redemption 2 again. I mean, you want to talk about pushing the boundaries of game design, a game that makes me, somebody who doesn't like to do slow grinds or doesn't like to do whatever, I know I've talked about this before, but in Red Dead 2, I've gotten off my horse and just walked him to my quest. Because they made it so enticing if you're looking for that kind of experience. I mean, they claimed when that game was coming out, we are making a game unlike anything else you've ever played, and they were goddamn right. Innovation. You want to talk about innovation of all these games. Let's break it down. A Way Out. Okay. Actually, you know what? I would say that A Way Out would be number 2 for innovation because it forces co-op play. You could only play a story game as co-op. That's pretty innovative. So I'm not going to say anything bad about that. Detroit Become Human. Not much innovation or pushing boundaries with that. I mean, they've been doing the exact same formula for years, since Heavy Rain. No. God of War. The only innovative part about God of War is how they blended the action adventure genre, how they made that story so compelling in an action game, and they matured a genre. They matured a franchise, which is innovative. I'll give you that, and that's pushing some kind of game boundaries. But it's still, we've had plenty of experiences like that. God of War just finally caught up to the party. And now Marvel Spider-Man, I'm gonna get my ass kicked for this one, but Marvel Spider-Man is just the original, but way, way better. Spider-Man 2 for PS2, which I understand is not the original, but Spider-Man 2 for PS2, it's just that, but way 1,000 times better. You're moving around through the city and you're fighting bad dudes. And yes, the combat, you feel like Spider-Man. You feel more Spider-Man than you have to fight like Spider-Man. I get that. That's very innovative too. But it's also a lot like Batman. It's also a lot like Arkham. Yes, Chris Stanton, I get it. I know you're not listening to this episode because you don't listen to the ones you're not on, but still, it's heavily derived from the Arkham fighting system. It just is. They made it more Spider-Man, sure, but it's Arkham, bro. So that's also why I believe that will be the same to win Red Dead Redemption 2. Moving on to Best Narrative. Best Narrative would be Detroit. Nominees are Best Narrative. The nominees are Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, personal choice, Red Dead. No, I'm joking. Best Narrative, hands down, 100%. If it doesn't win, I'm going to be, actually, let me make sure. Yeah, make sure I actually did say if it doesn't win, I'm going to be pissed off. God of War. Best Narrative, holy crap. Close second place is Spider-Man because the story in that game was phenomenal. But you want to talk about an emotional, freaking cleverly written, typical 3-act storyline with twists and turns and character development and all that. God of War, 100%. If anything else wins, if Detroit wins, I'm just going to do that. Good Lord. God of War will win. It's going to win. Moving on, Best Ongoing Game. Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Fortnite, Overwatch, Fortnite, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and Fortnite. Personal choice, Rainbow Six Siege. Love that game. It's so much fun, but Fortnite's going to win. Come on. It's going to win. And it deserves to win, okay? Fortnite's a good game. I haven't played it. I've seen it played. It scares me because I don't like playing popular games that other people are good at because I like to be good at games. But Fortnite's a good game. You can't say it's not a good game. If you are, you're lying to yourself. Best Art Direction. Nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of Obra Dinn. So my personal choice is kind of a tie. It's between, yes, Red Dead Redemption 2. Quick thing about the art direction, the fact that you can look at the ground and see over here is a patch of grass, and then there's some sand and rocks, and every little bit of that world feels designed and beautiful and natural. That's the biggest thing. That's the most natural feeling world I have ever experienced in a video game. That's enough about Red Dead. Octopath Traveler. That is some of the most beautiful art direction, but it's not realistic, which I understand that this isn't, good art doesn't have to be realistic, But how do you compare the two? It's apples and oranges. It's two completely different art styles. How would you compare Jackson Pollock to fucking I had his Andy Warhol? It's two completely different things. And the only two artists I can think of. But still, how do you compare the two? You can't. So I don't know who I'd give it to. Octopath Traveler was gorgeous. I mean, just so creative and so beautiful. And then so was Red Dead Redemption 2, but for completely different reasons. So I don't know who I'd give it to. And I think that either one is going to win. How do you compare? I think either one's going to win. Best score / music. Celeste, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Personal choice, no. I'm going to stop doing that. Personal choice, finally got to give it something. Marvel Spider-Man. The music in that game, first of all, the dynamic music in that game, I don't know how many people noticed, but when you're doing different things, the music changes. You start swinging, different music comes on, and then when you stop swinging, it just blends perfectly back into I'm just walking around Spider-Man music. It sounds like you're in a freaking Marvel movie, and the action sequences all make it feel so movie-like that is easily the best score / music. Now, Celeste, I understand some people like the 8-bit stuff, and a lot of people have been saying that the music in that game is great. Not my cup of tea. God of War also had the dynamic music, but I mean, Spider-Man, shit, dude, so good, so good. And I also believe that one will also win. Best audio design. Nominees are Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. My personal choice, God of War. The sound when you're throwing your axe and it just flies off and just lands somewhere, and then when it comes back, that thump that it makes when you grab it, it's everything in that game just feels good because of the sound. The crunches when you're hitting people, the sound of water hitting the boat. I mean, God of War, hands down. The one I believe will win, probably Forza Horizon 4, because that just seems like something would happen. That would happen. I don't know why. I don't like racing games, but they're like, oh, that car sounds like a car. And listen to the tires. I don't know. I feel like that could happen. I think God of War should win, but I don't know. I just have a feeling Forza Horizon 4, that game's going to win. Best indie game. Nominees are Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. Personal choice. I'm not going to say anything more about it. You already know how much I love it. Dead Cells. Best indie game. Absolutely. The one I believe will win just because of how much Skylar said that it was an amazing game. Only because that guy, I mean, Skylar, if you don't remember who Skylar is, he was the guy who was on my co-host, the first episode in St. Petersburg. He talked about this game Celeste, and I'm like, wow, you're just painting me a mind video game right now, and it just sounds so cool, and that's why I believe that's going to win. Plus, everybody talks about it like it's this big religious experience. I didn't like it. I mean, it's just not my kind of thing, but yeah. Moving on to Best Performance. Brian Deckard as Connor, Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos, God of War. Milisanthi Mahut as Cassandra, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption 2. Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, Marvel Spider-Man. Now, this one was a tough one for me. The one I believe will win was also kind of a personal choice, and vice versa. Like, they were both kind of like, oh, I love these both so much. They both brought so much to the table. The one I believe should win is also my personal choice. But, okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so personal choice, I went with Christopher Judge as Kratos. It's a more mature role. It was way harder to pull off. It showed more growth in a character. You know, you see more evolution in just the little things that, like, the way his voice and everything gets soft. You know what? That's going to my believe to win one. It's gotta. I mean, every little detail about how he talks to his son, like how it slowly evolves into a more caring father, and especially when his son starts giving him the spoiler alert, when his son starts giving him the cold shoulder, and you know, he's trying to like appeal to him, and he's trying to you know, get back good with him. I don't know, I feel like that was a much better performance, but Yuri Lowenthal was originally my belief to win as Peter Parker, because that is the best Spider-Man performance I've seen. I'd even say more than the movies. I mean, he nailed Spider-Man. He absolutely did. But the more I think about Christopher Judge's Kratos, I mean, yeah, it's gotta be the one to win. And if it doesn't, it just makes sense that they go with Spider-Man because it was more fun. But I'm gonna say he's gonna win also the award, not just for personal choice. Moving on to games for impact, which I had to do a little bit of research. Games for impact, the category is for games that impact us emotionally. Those games are 1111 Memories Retold, Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2, The Missing, JJ, Macfield, and the Island of Memories. That was all one thing, the missing part. Personal choice, Celeste. Believe we'll win the same, because I don't know anything about those other games. I've never heard of those other games except for Life is Strange 2. So, Celeste. Best mobile game. I'm going to take a sip of water. I am so thirsty. I've been putting it off. Here we go. Here, audio listeners, here comes a pause. Oh, that's good. Oh, that does me good. That does me good. All right. Best mobile game, Donut County, which I didn't know came out. I don't know how to describe the game. It looks fun. Look it up. Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, and Reigns Game of Thrones. I don't, personal choice, none of them. I don't play mobile games. PUBG is probably going to win. Fortnite is more popular, but PUBG Mobile plays better, and my brother-in-law, he plays PUBG Mobile, so this one's for you, Steven. Okay. Best VR/AR game, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Beat Saber, Firewall, 0 Hour, which is amazing that they put that on there because that game, from what I hear, is garbage. Moss, and Tetris Effect. Personal choice, Beat Saber. I've been waiting so long for this to come out for PlayStation, and it finally did, and I'm going to play it when I get home, and it's going to be awesome. It's fantastic. The one I believe will win, though, is the Tetris Effect. Now, I know that sounds weird. Why would a Tetris game win, especially when it's just you're in this world, and then Tetris is just happening in front of your face? That's weird. From what I hear from people who play it, it's one of those things where you can't really describe it. You just got to play it, kind of like VR in general. And that's why. I got a feeling that tonight's going to be a good night. No. Tetris Effect. I got a feeling. I don't know. I think it's going to happen. Moving on to Best Fighting Game. The nominees are BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, which I tried. I hated. I don't understand it. And I wanted to love it because you can play as Persona characters. And they just, Persona! All over the place. And it's so great. But I didn't like it. Dragon Ball FighterZ, because there's a Z instead of an S. Soul Calibur 6. Street Fighter 5 Arcade. And I don't know why I did it with that tone because that's the last one. Personal choice. Duh. Come on. Soul Calibur. The one I believe will win, though, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. FighterZ, or whatever it is. It's actually a surprisingly good fighting game. I really, really got into it. I liked it a lot. It's beautiful. It plays very well. It's very balanced. It's a good fighting game. So, and I know that people don't like Soul Calibur like I like Soul Calibur, which sucks because that's one I believe should win. Soul Calibur should win every video game award. Best game, best art direction, best acting. Soul Calibur. I mean, come on. You can't get better acting than that. But yeah, Dragon Ball Fighter is going to win. Best Family Game. Nominees are Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party. Personal choice, Super Mario Party. Brought that with me on the honeymoon. Haven't played it yet, but I intend to, because it's a fun game. I just been playing a lot of Super Smash Brothers. you know, and yeah, I'll play Super Mario Party eventually. The one I believe will win though is Overcooked 2. It's a fun game. I can't play it. I can't play it because I don't like fighting. That's actually kind of the funny thing. I think it's gonna win, but it's a home wrecker video game. That's what it is. It just comes into your home, into your relationships. It could be your relationship with your parents or your girlfriend or your wife, and it just wreaks havoc. It turns you into something ugly and something you never want to be. Just a terrible, terrible person. Both of you. Turns both of you into terrible, terrible people. Just, why can't you cook? All right, moving on to Best Sports/Racing Game. The nominees are FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. Personal choice, don't care, don't play sports games. Believe will win Forza Horizon 4, because why not? Moving on, Best Multiplayer Game, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves. Personal choice, Sea of Thieves. That is, for some reason, I don't know why, that is the game I want to play the most, but don't want to spend money on. Like, that game of all of these games, I want to play Monster Hunter World too. Don't want to spend money on that. But of all these games, Sea of Thieves looks the most interesting that I really want to spend money on, but I don't want to spend money on. I really want to play, but don't want to spend money on. It's not even that expensive. I also don't want to devote my time to it because it's just, I don't have the time to be sinking hours and hours into one video game. I got to play them all. But the one I believe will win, Fortnite, because it's Fortnite and it's a good game. Best Student Game. What? Best Student Game. Combat 2018, Dash Quasar, Jera, Lif, Recharge. Personal choice. What? Believe will win. What? Best Debut Indie Game. Nominees are Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, Yoku's Island Express. Personal choice, none, because I don't know any of these games personally. I've only by name. Believe will win The Messenger. I didn't just pick one at random. Actually, it got really good reviews, and it just seems like a good. It seems like the personification of an indie game. It's a side scroller. You're a little ninja. It's. I played it. Oh, that's right. I did play that one. You're the ninja with the message to deliver. That's actually, you have a little scroll and you gotta. I didn't like it, but I guess that's what I voted for. So, best esports game: CS:GO, Dota, Fortnite, League of Legends, Overwatch. Personal choice: Overwatch. I love watching people play that game. In fact, like I like watching people play that more than Fortnite, which I don't like watching people play too much, but still. Overwatch, super fun game to watch, but I don't think it's a good esports game. I don't think it's as balanced as some of the other ones, and obviously League of Legends is going to win because it is a massive esports game. It is huge. I have two good friends of mine who, on their honeymoon, went to the League of Legends esport competition thing, whatever. It's a big deal. It's League of Legends. And I'm going to skip the best esports player, team, coach, event, host, and moment because I don't follow that. I'm sorry. Lastly, and least important, content creator of the year: Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane, and Willy Rex. Personal choice: Josh Asensio, Downright Fierce Gaming. Believe will win, Ninja. I mean, he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, or what was Sports Illustrated? It was like Time or something, or it's on the cover of something. Sports Illustrated. Yeah. One of those. Anyways, it's going to be Ninja. He crossed over. And that's it. And this is going to be a perfectly lengthed episode. Look at that. And I got through it, and I didn't even cry once. Even though I am so out of it. This is week 3 of Honeymoon podcastery. Currently in Iceland. Next week we'll be in Denmark, correct? Next Sunday we'll be in Denmark because we're leaving Friday. So I assume Sunday we'll be in Denmark. Okay, cool. So next week I'll be in Denmark. I said I wanted to try to to get an idea of how people treat video games in other countries. We haven't really met anybody over here. Yeah, that's something I was saying. Give me that look. Yeah, we really haven't met anybody over here, but I can tell you this, they don't play Pokemon Go that much because there's some weak-ass gyms here in Iceland. Some weak-ass gyms. And that's what video games are like in Iceland. There are no GameStops. I haven't seen any GameStops. So, there we go. If you like this, what the fuck's wrong with you? If you like this, you can listen to all of our episodes as they air live, or watch all of our episodes as they air live. You can watch live every Sunday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, unless I have to change the times, actually, like I'm going to have to do for the rest of the honeymoon, because it's only going to get later. So, until I say otherwise, all episodes will be live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook.com/DownrightFierceGaming, YouTube.com/DownrightFierceGaming, and Twitch.tv/DRF Podcast. You can listen to all of our episodes on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and Stitcher. They release on Mondays or Sundays, or sometimes I release them. You can do that. You know what? Give us a review. Make it 5. Make it 5 stars. Do a 5-star review on us. Please. I'm fading. Now that I don't have this script, not script, but this like these notes in front of me, I don't know what to say anymore. You can give us money, please, at patreon.com/downrightfierce or downrightfiercegaming. It's one of those. Where $1 a month, or $2 a month rather, can get you all of our exclusive content 1 week earlier than everybody else. Also, it gets you thanked at the end of the episode, like Mark Mayfield. Thank you very much, Mark Mayfield. And Tristan Haynes. Gracias, Tristan Haynes. We also want to thank Brian Altano, Damon Hadfield, and MC Lars for letting us use their music. We want to thank our executive producers, Brian Kizmetsky, Carolina Jarvis, and Andrew Kirkendall. That's it. I did it, and now I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. And, no, I'm not going to do good luck. That's lame. How do you say good night in Icelandic? Schmearziger